All right, so get this. As Paulie's thinking about becoming a venture capitalist, if he ever retires,
maybe I can call Startup Tucson.
I was going to say you could be right here taking advantage of one of the best cities in the country. This is called a slicker city. Tucson is one of the 5 hubs. A slicker city, according to Entrepreneur Magazine.
Use somebody else's desk and chair and wireless connectivity and...
Yeah, what's the deal with that? It's like communal stuff, and I don't want anybody have the germs that are on desk chairs and a table, all that other garbage. That's what I guess this and I'm sure Startup Tucson is great. They're trying to start up businesses and start up Tucson because it's so anti-business. Anyway, I tried to find this Entrepreneur Magazine yesterday, and I couldn't find it. I went to 2 different grocery stores. They had Fortune, they had money, they had, other things that I just don't care about very much. I do care about money and Fortune, just not the magazines. But I couldn't find any, so I bought a fantasy football magazine because I find that to be much better. But anyway, a listener named Jeff drove up here and dropped off his copy of Fortune. No, wait, what is this? Entrepreneur Magazine. And on page 58, it has Slicker Cities, 5 emerging entrepreneurial hubs. And Tucson is the first one listed. It also has Corvallis, Oregon, Lincoln, Nebraska, Baton Rouge, and Norfolk. So the guy that apparently is the name in this is Shane Reiser. Shane Reiser. He is the co-founder of the Startup Genome, which I guess it's not really a startup itself. It categorizes startup companies and cities. And anyway, his database of startup ecosystems. You love that terminology, don't you? If I'm, every time I want to see one of these 20, early 30-something wannabe Zuckerbergs use the term startup ecosystem. We want Tucson to be a startup ecosystem. I want to give him a wedgie. I want to take away his ability to go to Starbucks and order some kind of frappe mochaccino with a twist of mint. Because you just don't deserve it. That's what these people do. And you know what they're going to drive? They're going to drive a Volkswagen Passat.
No, they're going to have a fixed gear bike, Garrett. Get it right. Oh, they're going to have a fixie. They're going to have a Fedora.
By the way, I like Volkswagen Passats, too.
They're going to roll up their jeans so they don't get...
No, the French roll?
No, they're just rolled up so that you don't get grease from your
the bike. Okay,
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So you can take away that.
They're going to have the bike messenger bag with the going across their body as they ride. So that's what these people, we're going to make this a big ecosystem. They're going to drink their little Starbucks. They're going to hop on their Samsung Galaxy or their iPhone. Shut up.
Probably not Starbucks because that's too corporate. So they'd want to have like a local roaster.
The communist one downtown, right? What is that on 4th Avenue?
Good choice.
Common Grounds, where they sit around and read the Communist Manifesto or something like that. It's down the block from Che Guevara's bar. It's called Che's. Anyway, so that's what these people do. So this guy Shane Reiser apparently is a genius when it comes to, he should be, if he has a database of startup ecosystems. He's been cataloging founders, investors, deals, and the local community since 2011. He wants to uncover the next big thing. So I'm thinking, wow, this guy's main job is to find the next big city and have the reasons why. So he should have everything. Oh, my God, this guy, and I'm thinking this guy has inside dirt. If Tucson is the number one listed thing here, and it says Tucson is nurturing, this is what it writes here in Entrepreneur Magazine, Tucson is nurturing long-term small business success by taking deliberate ordered steps to surround startups with help. That's phenomenal. I'm thinking, this is great. This is great. Hey, Obi, do me a favor. Call this guy. I just got an email from that Startup Tucson guy. Call that number right there and get him on the line. I want to talk to him because this is Startup Tucson. You can't see it? There you go. You got it? This is the beauty of radio. Anyway, it says, according to Reiser, all community players, investors, universities, and government agencies are involved from the start. So the pipeline begins with hackathons and maker fairs. I mean, these sound cool. Nobody knows about them, though. Like those sponsored by Startup Tucson. So this organization does it. We're going to get a guy on the line in just a minute from Startup Tucson. They have startup weekends at which the kernel of a product or service is hashed out, and then it goes on and on into incubator programs. He says, this is what Reiser says, these events aren't random. They've created an entrepreneurial conveyor belt. And he's talking about Tucson. So I emailed this guy. I said, hey, can you talk about this? This is great for Tucson. We need positive news. And this is the guy that's quoted in this story, and his answer was, you may want to talk to Justin Williams. He's the guy you should be interviewing. I took my cue from him, and he's with Startup Tucson. So I'm thinking, wait, so is this like nothing but propaganda? Are you telling me? Is he not answering his phone now? He just emailed me his phone number. Okay, cool. Are you telling me that this guy is supposed to be a genius? He started up a website, Startup Genome. He catalogs the cities that are doing it, and he has no evidence of it. Instead, he got some guy called him saying, hey, Tucson's great. Can you? And this is why. And the guy's like, okay, cool. I'll tell this to Entrepreneur Magazine, and they'll just publish it, and we'll all be good. I want concrete data. I want Tucson to grow. I want business to be here, but where is it? How can you actually say this is happening? Is he not answering?
They're opening a dispensary downtown.
Well,
does that count?
Only that's it. Well, who's investing in it? It's starting up in Tucson, right?
Some smart, lucky people who are going to make a buttload of cash. Basically, who's doing it?
What's that?
They're going to make a lot of money if they're putting a dispensary at 6th and 6th. I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm just getting hungry right now thinking of the dispensary and the product. What? Wait, you're telling me that if they're going to put that downtown, kind of near Common Grounds,
and
Brooklyn Pizza? I mean, they should be wanting that. That would be, oh yeah. So anyway, I don't even know what to believe anymore. I'm looking at this. Who has the actual real information? Who has the information that can say this is good? They point to an IBM purchase back in 2011. Oh, we got him? This is good. Okay. Justin Williams from Startup Tucson. Justin, thanks for joining us here on KNST. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Garrett?
Excellent. Look, I'm a guy that wants good things to happen. You seem like you're a guy that wants good things to happen.
I'm desperate for good things to happen.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think this is a phenomenal community, and I think that there's a problem in leadership, and they chase business away. So that's why I was shocked when we came across this story from Entrepreneur Magazine about slicker cities, and Tucson was one of the 5 emerging entrepreneurial hubs. Did you know this article was out there?
I did, yeah. I had spoken to Shane a little while ago when he was investigating all the different cities, and we had a pretty compelling argument, I guess.
Oh, you had an argument?
Yeah, I mean, he had been interviewing a bunch of different cities, and he'd been following a lot of the work that we'd done over the last couple of years with Startup Tucson, and he was pretty impressed by what we'd put together here. And in fact, it's kind of become a model that he'd like to see used in other cities, as he described it.
So Tucson is a model for entrepreneurial business that he wants to see used in other cities? Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of the work that we've been doing in the last couple of years here has implications and is a really interesting approach, I think, from the way that he described a lot of what other cities are doing. So, yep.
So is it weird though that a guy like me, I look around, I see the low-paying jobs, and I'm not saying this is not opportunity. I see low-paying jobs. I see a city council, a mayor. I see an idea, a thought process. I see a NIMBY town. I see people that chase away business. And that's when I see that, and then I see that we're a slicker city, and supposedly people want to come here and invest. And that just doesn't compute. Am I wrong here?
No, I think it's both. I mean, I think there's an issue of having to deal with our history and a lot of the mistakes maybe we've made in the past. But we're not bound to those, right? We're a city that has the capacity to be creative and innovative and do new and interesting things. And the last couple of years, I mean, have you been downtown in the last year or two?
Yes.
And there's a lot going on in downtown right now.
But
and
there were also a lot
of an entrepreneur ecosystem.
So you're talking about the modern streetcar? Because there are a lot of businesses that went under. There are some businesses that opened, but there are also businesses that went under downtown.
Yeah, but there's a lot of energy in downtown right now, and that core between the university and downtown is starting to grow, and that's an integral piece of changing the dynamic of Tucson. And so there's certainly no argument that we've arrived, but we are doing interesting things, which was, I think, the point of the article in Entrepreneur Magazine.
Okay, I want to find out what the energy is that you're talking about, because there's a difference between energy and actually something happening. My junior hockey coach told me my favorite quote. I'll never forget it. He said, "Don't mistake effort for accomplishment." And you could say that there's all kinds of energy, but where are the actual jobs? I want to find out, because look, I think Tucson can be great. I think if you get the right people with the right minds and the right ideas, it can be good. I want to hear and I want to see that there are jobs created. Can you hang on with me? I got to just take a short break. Hang on for me, because I want to find out exactly what is happening. Give me some concrete information, concrete details, because it's hard for me to compute. It's hard for me to take it seriously. Maybe it's 3.5 years of being browbeaten, and we just went through this with Grand Canyon University. But we'll talk with Justin Williams and Startup Tucson. I've never heard of Startup Tucson until yesterday. So maybe this is good for people that are listening, because there are tons of entrepreneurs and business owners and people that want to be business owners that listen to KNST. So maybe this is a good thing also. We'll find out what exactly is happening, how this, is it propaganda, is it not? We'll find out. Justin Williams is going to continue with us in 4 minutes right here on KNST.
Listen live at knst.com.
7:27 right now. It's the morning ritual. Garrett Lewis right here on KNST. Trying to figure this out, because I'm honestly sick of the negativity. Got to deal with the Tucson City Council basically saying no to Grand Canyon University, which would have created jobs, gotten rid of a burden on the taxpayers, which is a golf course that can't pay for itself. And instead, they say no to that because whatever reason. And instead, what do? They agree to crack down on abandoned shopping carts. And come on, really? And then I see in Entrepreneur Magazine, Tucson is named as one of the 5 hubs for entrepreneurs. And I'm thinking, why would an entrepreneur want to come here? So we'll find out. Justin Williams with Startup Tucson, and they used his information in the article. Justin, thanks for hanging on. I appreciate it. So
happy to.
Let's just get through this. Why would an entrepreneur want to come to Tucson if they have to deal with the anti-business ideas, mindset from all the people that are in charge?
So I think we're talking about two different conversations.
Are we?
I want to make a distinction between a local small business and a startup.
Okay.
So a startup is a sort of dynamic small organization that's searching to grow and create the next big thing, right? Facebook or some small version of it. A local business is somebody who's opens a restaurant on the east side of town or whatever. Two types of people working in them, two different aspirations. And Entrepreneur Magazine is more focused on that startup culture. And they're looking at the work that's been going on in the last couple of years here to try and create an environment that attracts, for example, university talent to stay in Tucson after they graduate, which talent is the number one issue for startups and entrepreneurship. It's regulation and other things, business climate are important. I don't want to suggest that they're not. But when you see startups and all the great companies coming out of Silicon Valley, they're coming out of there because you've got Stanford and Berkeley and a great culture that keeps really talented people there doing really innovative things. And so first and foremost, what we've been working on is thinking from that perspective. How do you keep the talented, young, energetic, creative class of entrepreneurs here in Tucson? And that's been a big focus of Startup Tucson, is looking at it and saying, what sort of community do young people want to plug into? And so when I was talking about what's going on and the energy in downtown, that's a big part of it, right? They want an opportunity to do interesting things. They want to work around interesting people. They want that creativity and energy. And you'll see in the last between, let's say, 6 months ago through the next 6 months, you're going to see 6 different co-working spaces that are opening up in downtown. Those are spaces where 1-2-person companies can get together, work in a creative environment. There's Gangplank, there's Connect, there's the Hive, Zero Craft. These are the sorts of working environments you see in larger cities that have all started to pop up in the last couple of years in downtown. When you add to the restaurants and the entertainment that's starting to happen, you're starting to find a community where university students want to stay after they graduate.
But can they get paid? I mean, can they afford to live if they're just sitting around? I mean, it's great. They're coming up with ideas. They're very smart. But how does that translate to them wanting to be here and actually, get a job and contribute to the economy?
Well, so what we're talking about is people creating their own jobs, right? Okay. Students that are here to build a company. And I want to give you an example that maybe I can illustrate why this is all sort of interesting. And so there's a young man that just graduated from the U of A. His name's Stephen Ost. You'll see him on one of the first articles on our website. He was just named by, again, Entrepreneur Magazine as one of the 5 finalists for College Entrepreneur of the Year.
I read that about him on your guys' website.
Yeah, and so Stephen has been working. He's sort of a good example of this. So a year ago, he was a student at the U of A. He just graduated this past May. So he's been working on his idea called U Free. It's a mobile app that's focused on helping students quickly discover what other things which other of their friends are available to go do something, to go to a bar after class or whatever that they may want to do in a social way. It's a pretty spectacular idea that's gotten a lot of traction, and he's done a really great job executing that. He could have left. I mean, he's from Phoenix. He could have moved back to Phoenix, began to launch with ASU. One of the things we've done in the last year is help put together a cooperative living space for entrepreneurs called the Pirate House. And he's one of the first tenants. It just opened in August. So there's a handful of college-age entrepreneurs that are moving in together, I believe, just north of campus. And so you look at that and you say, okay, we've got a place for them to live when they graduate. You've got people working with them that are focused on the same kinds of things they are. You give them a place to go work during the day, like Gangplank or Connect or the Hive, one of the spaces downtown. And suddenly you give them a place to go out with their friends in the evening, one of the restaurants. You've got a culture that they want to be part of. And what's really important, I think, that may not be discussed a great deal, a third piece of this is that the Desert Angels, it's a group of local investors that focus on early-stage seed investments for startups. They're run by a guy named Curtis Gunn. In the last 3 years, they've moved from a decent organization that's been growing to one of the top 5 to 10 angel groups in the country. They do more deals and have more money being invested in startups here in Tucson, and I believe it's something on the order of 75 to 90% of the investment dollars that they spend are invested in Tucson companies. So you put those ingredients together, and in particular, if you look at the article, they talk about a pipeline or a conveyor belt, and it's something we started a little over a year and a half ago by putting together a couple of experiential educational events for entrepreneurs. It's called Startup Weekend. Our version of Startup Weekend is coming up in September. And we sort of arranged a variety of these events together that allow an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur who has an idea to come to Startup Weekend, pitch an idea to an audience, work through building a business model out of that, and then take that through a series of other programs that we've arranged on the calendar so that they kind of fall one after the other. And by the end of it, you are in a position to be able to potentially pitch to the Desert Angels if you've kind of made it through all the different hurdles and worked within all the mentoring that we provide. And so when someone from Entrepreneur Magazine calls and we talk about this, a lot of the things that I just described to you are actually pretty new and interesting you see these things in the big cities in New York and Silicon Valley, but even some of this stuff, we look at Austin, Texas as a city that we aspire to be in many ways. And we compare somewhat favorably. I mean, we've got a long way to go to be able to say we're on the same tier as a lot of the really innovative communities. But what we were recognized for is making some really interesting moves that can have an impact.
So basically, you guys are being recognized, and I guess Tucson's being recognized as a place to provide no, it's not like these guys. I mean, if they come out with an idea, they're going to start it up, get the idea rolling, and then sell it off to some larger corporation or get some big venture capitalist firm like Desert Angels to buy into it. There's no guarantee, and I get that. That's great. There's no guarantee that jobs are going to happen because that's apples and oranges. Jobs may not happen in Tucson. They might develop the product somewhere else, but the smart ideas are coming from people that are here.
Well, if you have so this is maybe a really good example.
Hang on, Justin. Hang on,
medical system.
Hang on one second. Justin, can you? I just got to take a break. I'm getting death glances by my news guy because I need to go to news. Can you hang on? Or can I call you back in 4 minutes? Can we just finish this?
Hang on.
All right, hang on for me. Justin Williams from Startup Tucson. I think this is interesting because people don't know about it, and people want to know if there are people that actually can come up with ideas, potential jobs, that kind of stuff. I do hear some stuff I want to talk about with Justin when we get back in 5 minutes about this whole thing about their liberty. I don't know. When I got out of college, I wanted to make money right away. Maybe that wasn't one of those people. I don't want to live with other people. I just want to make my money, get drunk, and continue to make more money. But that was back when I just got out of college.
You still want to make money and get drunk?
I can't. I got to be coherent in the morning. If I had an afternoon show, it'd be different.
Fox News, Rush, Hannity, Beck. Local mornings with Garrett Lewis. We are KNST.
All right, 7:43 in the morning now on KNST. Back with Justin Williams. It's Morning Ritual. Garrett Lewis here. Justin Williams of Startup Tucson's on, and again, not many people know about this. And there was that article in Entrepreneur Magazine that said Tucson is one of the 5 slicker cities, an entrepreneurial hub. And I guess Startup Tucson, you guys are out there, Justin, promoting the fact that it's cool to live downtown. You want to keep U of A grads here by offering them. I'm assuming, well, you're not offering, but you're encouraging places to, I guess, become businesses where they offer cheap living so they could just pretty much sit around, drink coffee, come up with the next Facebook app or something like that.
Yeah, we work with a lot of different groups, and these groups are sort of forming. So the one that I mentioned, Connect, is actually being founded by Scott Steitler, who owns the Rialto block, and just opened Proper and Diablo Burger and a couple other things. So he's opening a space down there. Fletcher McCusker, who just launched his new company Symphonia after leaving Providence Service Corporation. Again, Fletcher created a $1 billion company here in town, and it's one of the 2 publicly traded companies headquartered in downtown. He's creating the Hive, which is a co-working space where he'll help mentor the entrepreneurs that come through there.
So what does that mean? Hang on one second. What does that mean? So he's mentor. These young people come in and they just pretty much get free Wi-Fi, and he tells them how to establish a company. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. That's a big part of it. Is if you've got a young, talented entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, he's developed, he or she has developed some technology in the lab at the U of A, or they've built some mobile app. What they've done, what they know, right? They figured out how to build this thing, or they've come up with this idea. But there's a big hurdle between having an idea and turning it into something that's really executable. And so Fletcher, his program is specifically geared towards making sure that he's working with young entrepreneurs. Other co-working spaces are, looking at graphic designers or freelancers that just give them a place to work. But what all of this does is it puts people with ideas and
hang on one second.
Together.
When you say give them a place to work, there are no jobs. That's the whole point. I mean, if they could actually get a job with a business, they'd have a place to work, right?
Well, I mean, a freelancer is somebody who does work, right?
Is.
And so a freelancer, think of a graphic designer who may work for. So they run their own business, right? But their business is a population of one. They're doing logos or websites or marketing for a firm, and in a lot of cases, these people are working out of their house, right? Their home office. And a co-working environment puts them into a bit more of a social environment, which exposes them to. I mean, it's just like working in an office. If you work out of your house every day, you're sort of working in isolation, maybe listening more to the radio, but not getting the energy and the creativity that comes from working with other people in an office.
So how much does it cost for one of these guys to go to the Hive or something like that? Is it free for them to just go down there and plug in, or do they pay like a membership fee? Because it's almost like they're paying to get rental space in a building.
Yeah, so there's a couple different models for these groups. The typical model, so the Hive or Spoke 6, they rent a desk. It can be anywhere from $150 to maybe $400 a month, depending on whether you get a 24-hour access with a key or you just come in during business hours. There's another group called Gangplank, which is actually free. That's space that's been made available by Hulualoa, and it's in a Pioneer building. And you can come in, work from there as a drop-in for free. If you want a permanent desk, you're sort of obligated to do work within the Gangplank model of initiatives that they have.
What does that mean? So wait a second. So basically, and just answer me on this. And how old are you, by the way? I'm just curious.
40.
Okay, I'm 36. I'm trying to figure out this whole thing. I don't think I'm that out of touch. But you're basically telling me that Entrepreneur Magazine discovered Tucson. That guy, Shane Reiser, wrote this piece or got involved, gave information from you, but he said Tucson is an entrepreneurial hub. And we're entrepreneurial because we basically said instead of you working in your apartment, you should pay $150 a month to rent a desk so you're around other people to get ideas.
No, that's not what the article says.
No, but that's what But I'm saying you wrote the article's there. But what I'm saying is that that's what you're saying is that it's an entrepreneurial hub because you're basically just saying instead of working by yourself, everybody just go to a communal place and work together.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So they ranked Tucson one of those five cities because of all the different things I'm saying. So the example they give in the article is the Startup Pipeline, which is something it's a series of events and programming, some of which has existed for 15 years in Tucson, and some of which has been created in the last 2 years. Weekend is something that we created 2 years ago, and it's an event, a weekend-long event that allows you to pitch an idea, work with mentors, whether they're investors or former CEOs or current CEOs, and work all weekend developing a business model that you pitch to a panel of judges like you do on Shark Tank.
Like Shark Tank, okay.
On Sunday night. So that event is coming up on our third year. It'll be September 20th through 22nd if I get a plug-in.
Sure, that's fine.
We invite the community to come watch these businesses present. So I invite you to come down on Sunday night, and we run a program called Shark Tank, which is for everybody to come see, check it out, see what we're doing, and we want the rest of the community to be part of this. But so that event happens on September. Those teams will then all go into a program called Lean Launchpad, which is a 6-week program that takes these ideas that they've worked on for 2 days and gives them more work to do over the next 6 weeks to really figure out, are they committed to working on it? Have they figured out if there's really a customer audience that's going to buy their product? Are they putting in the time and effort? Once they've gone through a weekend plus 6 or 8 weeks, they get to pitch at an event called Idea Funding, which is, again, their sort of coming out party that allows them, and that's the one that's been around for 15 years, that allows them to get in front of an audience, to get in front of a panel of investors in an educational way.
So basically, you guys are a middleman. You guys are a middleman to help these young kids with ideas get in front of somebody that might want to invest it to make their idea a reality.
Yeah, it's not limited in any way to young people, and it's not limited in any way to tech. These are anybody who's aspiring, anyone who has an idea and is willing to put heart and effort and their time.
Has any of this paid off? Has any of this paid off for Tucson to create, I guess, jobs, good-paying jobs yet? Like what?
So in terms of jobs, we don't measure that, but
why not? That's what it's all about.
There's a story on our site this week about so 2 years ago was our first startup weekend. Okay. A company emerged out of that. But
hang on a second. How do you not measure things in terms of jobs?
I'm just telling you what we know right now. I just learned this story a couple days ago. Okay. So we're on the bleeding edge here. We're going to publish an article this week. I haven't seen the final details of it. Where they are landing a $2 million contract or a couple of contracts totaling $2 million. It's a company that started Weekend 2 years ago. It's a spin out of technology from the U of A, and so they've been working the last couple of years. What I know is that they've come to me on a series of occasions looking to hire more and more. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm guessing that they're at 5 to 8, 10 people. When you've got $10 in revenue, you're going to be hiring quite a few people. take a guess as to what the number is.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know how many are here. We're having you're getting a briefing on something that we haven't even published yet. But as an example, that's the kind of thing and I'd love for you to maybe come learn a little bit more. We can spend some time checking out some of these other stories. And our vision with Startup Tucson is that this is not a short solution, right? There's no immediate solution to the challenges that you've been talking about for a long time and that Tucsonans have been talking about forever. Our objective is to focus on a 20-year vision of what do we want Tucson to be like and how do we work towards that. And I think this is a critical ingredient to creating the Tucson that we want to have, right? And as an example of that, one of the things we're working on, and one more plug, is that we're running a program that's similar to this Startup Weekend, only we're doing it for middle school kids this weekend.
No, that's cool. Hang on one second.
Justin,
I'm just running short of time. I don't want to cut you off. I just want you to is it possible that I'd love to talk to you more about this, because I want business. I like when businesses can flourish, and I like when you get young people involved in business ideas. Can you come into the studio tomorrow? I want to talk more about this.
Yeah.
All right, hang on and hold for me, because I'll let you get your stuff, but I want to talk to you more about this. I have more questions about because this is a lot to grasp, and this is something new. And it could be positive. Again, I'm just looking at this as, trying to make it hip, cool downtown. I get it, but it's for, people in their 20s just out of college to come up with ideas and get hammered and go to happy hour and then get up and do. I'm just confused by it, but maybe we'll be asking if he can come on the show tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour. It's not like you can't hear me, but we'll figure out what happens there. We're just running short on time. We'll talk about this more, what we just learned too, in the next hour of the show, as well as the whole shopping cart fiasco. 7:53. It's KNST.